People First podcast is also centered by people with learning disabilities for our friend and community. We talk about issues that are important to us and interview directing people to find out new information. This is our way to make a difference and have our voices heard.
Hello, welcome to the People First podcast. There we are seeking the great disability copy of work. We have some people from the top to say what they are about. Welcome to the show. Good live at what we do with the
Hello.
So, hi, yes, I am Katie Smith and I am the Chief Executive at Beyond Words. And with me today...
Hi, I'm Nigel. I am author of the Beyond Words team, and I just do things like help people to run a book clubs and stuff, and just running it.
Run your own book club.
So first one on Zoom, and another one in the Leatherhead Library. And if you were in book clubs for yourselves or to your friends or whatever.
What are the other two things? You helping, don't you?
Help to try.
And you've written your own book.
So I've done most of the books, like people giving out smoking.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Beyond Words that makes your books special?
What's special about our books, Nigel? You started saying, didn't you, about the words in them?
So thank you, Big Cast. Yeah, normally we agree with our books, and we're trying to make our books. We're trying to make people keep safe and in our homes and our flats, and we're trying to keep them safe and sorry and stuff. And we're trying to do these things. We're trying to help them with our like in places around Surrey and like places in police officers and people to help us, and we're trying to help everybody else.
I think we've still got them. It's just different things popping up on my screen. So our books are special in that they tell stories without using any words, don't they?
But things like
the whole story is told by pictures. So even if you can't read words, you can still follow the story.
Yeah.
And the important thing is that you're able to tell your story about what you see in the picture, rather than what someone else thinks that you should be able to see. I hope that helps you a little bit.
Why do you choose to tell stories out any words?
Why do we choose to tell the stories without any words? Because we can use whatever way of communicating that you normally read. So if you use sign language, then you can tell your story via sign language or Makaton or a different native language, or use it by pointing at charts, emotion charts and things to show how you think someone's feeling. And it allows you to read the story, your experiences, and maybe ask the questions or highlight the important things that you want to talk about. So some of our books are about having really difficult conversations that we might not want to talk about, or you might not have the words for, but you can explore the topic through the pictures. And you are completely in control without having to worry about what's right and what's wrong, because it is your story to tell.
Yeah.
Share how people with learning disabilities convey your book.
You want to know how people with learning disabilities help us to make the book. We can't make the books without people with learning disabilities. It's really important to us that we involve the end reader at every stage. So people with learning disabilities are involved in creating the story, telling us whatever the important topic to you is. And then we can work together and we can get funding, but we can only get funding if we've got voices from people with learning disabilities saying that it's important that we have the book, that the book needs to be made. And hopefully we can find someone who'll pay for it to be made. We then have an editorial group, which is all the authors. So that will be an expert in the subject. We'll also have people who have experience. So they help us then create the detail of the story. Then when the book, the storyline has been drawn, they draw it in black and white first.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So we got different artists in each book.
Artists to draw the pictures. And then we get people to look at those pictures and tell us what story they understood, what pictures they liked and what pictures they didn't like. Then changes the pictures, colours them in, puts a bit more detail in, and then that will go, it looks more like the finish all around the country to have a look and again say what they thought was happening and give feedback until eventually we've had 100 people look at each book, each new story, and then we can go, yes, that's the story, and we can publish it or make the proper book like Nigel's got with. So yes, all the way through making the book are people with a whole range of disabilities. People on every book.
What is a book club, and how do you they work with your books?
Nigel, what is a book club?
Okay, so a book club is like now a book club is so what we meet up once a month, and now we normally meet at Blue Cafe and we go to a book to read, and so we normally start from 2 to 3, and people just go when they want to go. Other places around in Surrey and County, other book clubs, like we normally help out other people in Whitegate.
We are in Southeast England, and Nigel has his book club here, which meets in person once on Zoom once a month.
Yeah.
But there are book clubs growing all over the country and beyond. We have different book clubs in England. I think we're up to about 134 at the moment.
44.
And a book club is a safe space where you can get together with your friends and you choose a book and you all read the book together and share your experiences. So if you're talking about, I'm trying to think, well, I've got one here. This is a good one. If you're talking about the trouble with poo, you all share your about when you've had bad tummy or something, and then you get to realise that you're not alone. You're not the only person that's experienced
How to make it.
conversations.
Yeah.
Things that might make you feel isolated normally. You can have a fun conversation with your friends, and it might be about going into hospital, it might be about going to the beach for a day out.
How can someone that they other book club uses your resources?
Well, that is a really good question, Daniel. So if you start their own book club, they can go to our website, which is www.booksbeyondwords.co.uk. And there is a page there about starting your own book club. And now is a really, really good time to start your own book club, because we have to give away another 200 kits for book clubs to get started in England. So we can give you a box that has in it 30 books to be read by your book club. It has posters, it has lanyards. Yeah,
And also
different books.
so like scan.
There is a QR code in there as well that you can scan to give feedback. We also give the training, which you can do either online, or you get everything you need to set up a book club. And once you are a book club, you're part of the Beyond Words network of book clubs. So then there's lots of ongoing support to help you talk about some of the more difficult conversations and to grow the support and friendship of your book club.
How do your books help people talk about their feelings and experience?
So how do our books help people talk about their feelings and experiences?
You can say that.
Yeah, so I was going to show you or talk about the first book that we ever made, which is a book called When Dad Died.
There's like two actually. There's one with Dad.
So yeah, we made two books back 36 years ago. When Dad died and when Mum died.
And then we got another one about Am I Gonna Die? And we have a poster outside. And,
Yeah, we do.
But sometimes all I can see, if you're upset, it's okay to be upset. If you lost your loved ones, your friendship, or your somebody else you love, it's like you got to know these things. Now my story is, for me, as a family, sisters as well, we lost our dad, and he died a month ago, since January. I really look after my mum at home, and it's hard to use with your friends, your friendship, your friends in your heart. But please make sure that we know none of you can not be upset about that, or you can talk to anyone if you're carers or whatever.
Yes, so when we're making the book, work very closely with the illustrators to ensure that they show emotion in the faces of the people that we're drawing. You know, they're not cartoons, they represent real people. That allows you, when you read it, either individually or with a support worker or in a group, you can talk about your emotions. And as Nigel says, the most important thing with emotions is that you talk about them and share them.
Yeah.
And it can make you feel better. It makes your heart better.
So you can tell your families, your friends.
So sometimes you pick up a book and you take it to someone because it's something you want to talk about. That if you've got an emotion that's making you feel sad or something, and show the picture of sadness to someone because you can't find the words yourself to use. So you can tell tell someone about your feelings without the correct words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about a time when one of your books made a big difference for somebody? Like,
So a time when one of the books made sense to someone. It's quite hard for us to tell the other people's stories because it's their story to tell, and they might share them in different ways, and we don't like to put words to people. I'd like to tell you about Julie. So Julie Anderson is we call her a book club expert. She was in her local library cafe one day, several years ago now, and she saw some people the picture books, Beyond Words book, and she was interested in what they were doing. So she went over and had a look.
Yeah.
And they had a book club. So the next time the book club took part, she went along to the book club. And she liked it so much that she decided her own book club in her own town.
Yeah.
So Julie has now been running a book club in her own town for many, many years, hasn't she? And she reconnected with a school friend that she hadn't seen for years. Because she was feeling lonely.
It's very lonely.
So Julie, after starting her own book club and making new friends, she decided that she wanted to write a book. So Julie has authored a book called A Book Club, and that's all about people going to the book club and meeting new people. And Nigel was saying when she did the book launch, she went to the Houses of Parliament to tell people about the book that she had written. And she was just so very proud to have been able to author her own book and to have a book launch in her name and to be able to sign the books for people and for her parents and wanted to come and get them. So it's completely a very simple experience that completely changed Julie Knoll, helping out at a couple of book clubs and comes along to all sorts of different things. It's helped her confidence and given her lots and lots of friends.
If you were running your book clubs, you could share with friends as well.
Yeah, it's a great way of making friends and telling your own story.
What new projects on books are you excited about right now and before the future?
So we are currently working on making new books. Nigel, can you remember what those 4 new books are?
So 4 new books. I'm going to start with 1. So the first one is about seagull.
Yeah, a cheeky seagull.
Cheeky seagull. Now, it's a family at the beach. Now, we call him Cheeky Seagull.
So it's an adventure book that's written by a collection of book clubs, isn't it, in Kent?
In Kent.
And they've an adventure story about a seagull. That's a fun book.
Fun book.
We got one about starting school. Yeah.
So another book is about children school.
Yeah, so this is about a sort of first day at school, isn't it? Or going somewhere new for the first time and how nervous that makes you feel. There's that book, and then there's 2 books about computers, aren't there?
Yes.
Have you been involved in those ones yet? They're very early stages. We haven't got the pictures for those yet.
Not yet. So I've done 2 main books for kids' books, and the other ones, the ones and guns.
Yeah, so two books about keeping safe whilst using a computer. One of those books is about being bullied when using a computer. The other one is something called grooming, which is when somebody tries to get you to do different things that you may not want to do, often in exchange for money. So they're much more serious, those 2. Those are the 4 books that we're making at the moment.
And also I've done the story about when you get mugged.
Yeah, you did that one, didn't you?
And another story about personal people, bad people who being mugged. It's like I'm making my own stories in a certain way. In the book, the fat boy comes home on Mother's Day and meets those three lads and his friend. Go bus home, strange lads, and oh, good God. The strangers are not going to be, if they hurt you, sometimes I've been tapped once in my community.
Yeah, so that I think that is enormous range of topics that the books cover, and all the books, whether they are serious or fun,
We have a
show you how to resolve a problem when you have a problem.
we did have a happy ending.
Unmanageable, is it? If we work together, we can solve problems.
We can solve problems.
What is your favorite part about working with Beyond Words?
So, Nigel, what has been your favourite bit about working with Beyond Words?
What only these stories are from drama. Now, drama, we got this one and this one, both of them. Now, stories are Romeo and Juliet. On 2 books, and we just made this into theatre.
So Nigel was, as well as being an author and a trainer and a tester and everything else, book club primo. So Nigel was also part of a theatre company called Beanies, and together they wrote a book.
That's the top.
The big.
So yeah, it's sort of the way.
You wrote a story about being in a drama group, didn't you? And Hugh Grant, the actor.
He's famous.
Yeah, he's famous, and he got involved, and you became friends. And he came to the launch of the book.
So we launched them among us.
Well, apart from working with Nigel, I love storytelling, and so the bit I love the most is when I get together with people, whether it's an old book, and we read a story together, because every time we read a story, I learn new things about the people I'm with. And even if in the same book, we get a different story every time. And for me, I love hearing people have the opportunity and the empowerment to express themselves in the way that they want to, and to tell other people the story that they want to tell. Because I know that if they can do it in the group, that setting, that that's a really important time when they need to share an experience or a feeling, or they will then have the skills to be able to communicate what their needs are. And that is so important for all of us, to be able to tell people what we need.
That is all the time we have to today. We'd like to say a big thank you to Nigel and Katie for joining us today. We hope you enjoy it being on the show today. Is there any thought else that you would like to add before we end the show?
Well, we have had a great time, so thank you so much.
Yeah, Katie and I have a good time, and people asked your questions from you three, and it will be nice. It will be nice if you come say hello to us.
We would love it if people listening to this show visit. Right, that would be nice.
And what we can do, we can help you to look in our books, and before hear from you three and the radio station.
Well, one final thing from me, I'm going to ask everybody listening to follow us on our socials. So Instagram at UK_Beyond Words, And on Facebook at Books Beyond Words.
And I like to come and see one of those days in your stations on radio stations and show us around. So it's nice to see you free and the person behind the camera.
Bye for now.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Vote.
Remember to comment, like, share, Facebook, Instagram and X. You can find us by searching for People First podcast. Thanks for listening and we'll see you next time.